Welcome back to AM Prime, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for making the time to be with us this morning as we get into a conversation regarding care for the elderly here in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, oftentimes you don't really hear much coming from such. There is one initiative, one group of people who've come together now to put forward many initiatives on educating the public of such. And I'm joined this morning by the founder and managing director of Care Safety Solutions Limited, Ms. Asha Mungal. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you very much for joining us this morning, because I know that you guys are very busy.
Yes.
Just taking a glance at your social media network, it's really a lot that you all are doing. What exactly is your aims or your intentions at all the initiatives put forward, especially surrounding elderly and caring for the elderly?
The main focus right now is to try to educate the public. This process of caring for a loved one, caring for a parent, you are really, really not prepared for when you get that phone call or, a medical situation happens. And many of my clients, when they reach out to us, it's because they are so overwhelmed. They really don't have a clue where to turn. And my personal objective and my company is to ensure that, you are better equipped for when that happens. Because the unknown is scary. It really is. And preparation is key, because just like with babies, you have limited time when you have to act on a situation. It's the same thing with the elderly. Seconds can mean life or death. So empowering our citizens in Trinidad and Tobago, ensuring that persons outside of Trinidad whose parents live here are being taken care of, and that they know who they should go to, what needs to be done. All that is key information, and that's the drive that we're on right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, given your experience and your interactions with others, how would you describe the state of affairs in TNT as regards to elderly patient care?
We have a lot to do. We do have a lot to do. There are many persons making inroads into providing products and services to care for the elderly. But there's so many, come see me, come live with me is a very true statement. And we really don't know what direction that we need to go in. And this is where the powers that be need to come on board together with so many groups and support groups and different organizations. So what we are trying to do is form an alliance where we can work together, simultaneously, because at the end of the day, we're looking to take care of our loved ones. But geriatric care on the whole, there's a whole, revamp that needs to be done with regards to it. A lot of our seniors are just tossed to the wayside, which is very, very unfortunate.
And that's why you're pushing through with an education drive, doing your part. But in that regard, is that something that is easy or difficult to do? Not everybody likes to be told this is what you have to do or this is what you should do. An education drive is very much a lot of work, but the reception or the response, has that been easy?
Yes and no. Fortunately, we have a lot of partners that we're working with, corporates, and they are very receptive of opening their doors to us to come in to have conversations, because we are empowering their employees. So we're focused on corporate right now, small, medium, large, where we come in and chat with their employees, where we educate them on, are you prepared to take care of your mom? Have you been seeing changes in your dad that is a bit concerning? And by doing this, we are also now equipping them that they can put things in place, because what most employers don't want is distracted employees. Mm-hmm. Because you can be at work and you're like, oh my God, I wonder if she took her meds. Oh my God, I forgot to tell her that I left the food in the refrigerator, different things like this, and you're stressing constantly. Mm-hmm. So that work-life balance is very, very difficult. Hence the reason we are focused on going in and starting the conversation, starting that thought process which will make, a holistic approach to better quality care.
Oftentimes, the response that you receive when asking that question, are you prepared, especially to those within the corporate sector, has that been one that is, I never really thought of this. No, I'm not prepared.
Yes and no. There's a balance, but I personally have sat from all sides. So yes, I'm the owner of a business, but I started this business because of my mom. So from the personal standpoint, I can relate too. I've also been a patient where doctors didn't know what was wrong with me. So I can relate from all sides. And you do get a pushback. But I think because it's something new and it's something different and it is free, most important. So there's no cost. This is just us giving our time, going in to educate persons, which I think it's worth more than if I put a cost on it and they say, okay, let me pay you to do this. I will happily come in and do it for free.
Because you're also pushing a knowledge caravan in your community
Correct.
outreach. Let's speak a bit more about that.
Correct. So same thing, the knowledge caravan, again, it's about empowering. It's about giving you that information. And everything that we've been doing is tied into each other. Mm-hmm. So the caravan is we're going to start going into communities, having that one-on-one conversation where we can reach other persons outside of the corporate sector, where a lot of them are probably at the point where they are either retired or they've just been home or unemployed and having to now take care of a loved one. So we're trying to bring the information home, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. But apart from the knowledge caravan, are there any other initiatives being pushed forward by CSSL?
Oh, definitely. We have our Family Caregivers Conference and Expo this year again. This is the second year on the 28th of October, which is a Saturday at the Center of Excellence. And this is free to all persons. So again, bringing together a space where you have companies with products, services, senior homes, agencies, nutritionists. It's a wealth of information in one space where caregivers, family caregivers and professional caregivers, or just persons curious because you never know when that time comes for you. It's open to everyone to come to get the information on that day, but by extension, we are also launching our Family Caregivers Guide, which again is free to the public. And same thing, we have topics from persons who would have experienced different ailments, cancer patients, doctors talking about dementia, chronic illnesses. It's a host of information. And we also have something called the pink pages. So it's a mouthful I'm giving you right now, but the pink pages where you have a list of companies, individuals who are giving discounts, whether it's a 5%, 10%, to persons who now have our CSSL discount card, which is downloadable on our CSSL app. So yes, so there's a lot of, I don't want to encourage and use the word free, but because when you're caring for someone, every penny counts.
Yeah.
You're literally counting your cents because you have to get Pampers, you have to get medication, you have to get caregivers, you have to go to doctor appointments, and it goes on, and you still have to live. You, as a person caring for this person, still have to live.
Now,
so
you said you were giving me a mouthful, but I'll be very honest with you. There are times when a mouthful works well for the host, so no worries there in that sense. But no, I want to touch on that. You said you don't want to use this word free too much. Mm-hmm. I have interviewed many people. I've had many fantastic interviews. And people do want to help others. They always want to push this education and knowledge drive. And many a times it comes with a cost. Not everything is you're able to achieve just by saying it's free. You have to consider your expenses as well. But you're pushing this for everyone. You're also pushing easy access, which is commendable. Mm-hmm. But surely that has also proven to be a challenge.
Yes, it is. But I think when you do things with good intentions, everything falls into place. And we have an amazing team of women in the office that I can't ask for anything more as a business owner. I come and I've been told no more ideas for this year, but I will mention something or one of them will come up with something, and we are very supportive of each other. And I think because of the pureness and the genuine care that we have for what we're doing, things just automatically fall into place. Because we have over 100 exhibitors at our expo. Last year when we did it for the first time, yes, it was a challenge. And when we said, okay, we're going to have it again this year, within 2 weeks, exhibitors were on board. We were right up to max. And I think, again, because it is a challenge for persons, and I personally and my team, we want to be able to make it attainable, the information reachable at the fingertips of everyone, because we understand the challenge. So yes, it does come at a cost, and yes, CSSL may be funding a lot out of it, but I think it's a long-term investment that is needed. We try to fill the gap where, again, hearing the cries of my client, being a family caregiver for my mom, I know the personal challenge that comes with it. And if we're able to help and just ease a little bit of frustration, then I think we've accomplished what we started out to do.
Now, your team, you guys have been supportive of each other.
Yes.
However, and you've mentioned the exhibitors as well, what about those who are supportive of your team, supportive of all the initiatives, supportive of the Knowledge Caravan? This is incredible. Again, we spoke about the state of affairs of caregiving here in TNT, elderly caregiving at the very beginning of the interview. Now pushing forward with your education drive and even the exhibition and whatnot. Has there been that support towards you and your initiative, to you and your team?
Of course, of course. People are seeing the value. Corporate TNT, we do have amazing persons coming on board because, I mean, in the Caregiver's Guide, we do have advertisements for corporate, right? So that would have supplemented some of the cost, as the case may be. This being our first year, we know that it's something new. And just like everything else, people are a little bit, let me wait and see how it turns out because, we get involved or they may have had a bad experience from in the past, and that's fine. But the bigger objective, we know by the second edition, people are going to see the value. They're going to appreciate it. And then because it's a free printable, so we're going to have distributed at least about between 5,000 to 10,000 copies. We're aiming at printing and just giving out for free on that same day of the expo, but at different locations as well we'll be distributing. But with the app, you are also, the magazine is in the app. You are able to download the app whether you live in Trinidad or outside. So our Trinbagodians who are trying to figure it out from so many miles away, everything is reachable and attainable by just downloading the app. So corporate TNT now, who are advertising, who have products and services of value that those same persons going to want, whether it's adult diapers, hospital beds, etc., they now are going to see the value that, I am now reachable elsewhere. So this magazine is now printable version, and we're also trying to work with the Blind Welfare Association in having an audio version of the guide, because we have to cater to all persons. Yes. Our visually impaired persons need that support, and they want to be included, just like, and nobody should be left out, especially with the caregiving aspect.
I think that we better understand CSSL's role in this entire education drive. We understand what your team, you all want, what you're all hoping for. But I want to just go back for a moment on something that you touched on earlier, and you spoke about both sides of the situation. You've spoken about the care that elderly people need and require. But you've also touched on something, and that is those who are giving that level of care and attention and what is required of them. And you've expanded also on every cent counts. So I'm going to touch back a bit more on your personal experience, of which you opened up a bit more and shared with us this morning in regards to your mother. Has that experience allowed you to create, I mean, because education is one thing, you have the education,
Yes.
you have the business, you've pushing forward these initiatives, but that human touch and that personal experience, has that also been pivotal in your ability to appeal to everyone, and especially that push for education? Has it resonated better given that you're able to touch on all sides?
I think so, because I can tell you, being in this profession, and when that time came with my mom, all the knowledge and understanding and logic went straight out the door, because you have emotions involved and you are panicking.
Yeah.
And yes, I had advantages of having pharmacy owners, pharmacists at my fingertips. Okay, this is what's happening. What do you think about this medication? I had doctors that I can easily just call. I don't have to go and line up and go through this whole long process. However, the emotions, that roller coaster is very real. And fortunately, having experienced that allows me to relate more to my clients, that I have a better understanding and appreciation of what they're going through. So it's not just somebody calling me and say, hi, Asha, I need to get a caregiver for my mom. I can start breaking it down. And most of the time when we get there, we talk for long periods of time outside of, okay, you need a caregiver for X, Y, Z, these are the hours, etc., etc. But you can get into the information as well, because we also have the Caregivers Support Group of Trinidad and Tobago. So that was something else that I started. And we do have a very active WhatsApp group that, soon we're going to start back having our monthly meetings face-to-face, because it's an avenue where you can vent, you can scream, no judgment.
Let me just interrupt for a moment, and I'm so sorry to do so, but is that also something that is a part of this initiative? Emotional intelligence. And I use it like that because you're right, people might panic, but in this sense, or in the process of people might become frustrated or angry, and you don't want them taking that out on others, especially those whom they should be caring for.
Correct.
So what about being able to foster that empathy, that patience, that understanding?
It's work in progress. It is, because you know that this person is diagnosed with dementia. You know they're not well. But because you have emotions, it doesn't matter how old you are. You could be in your 50s, 60s. You will still look at your mother or your father as, my mom was the person I would go to when I have a problem. My dad is the person who will get up and go, and he's fixing everything in the house, But now you're so confused with that image of your mom or dad, and then trying to understand, who is this person in front of me? Why are you doing these things? Even though you yourself know that, okay, they've been diagnosed. But that, again, the pulling, and you literally feel yourself just exploding or imploding, because so many back and forth. It's like, okay, I know you're not well, but why are you doing this? I told you don't move, but you got up again and you can fall. And you do lash out, and that support is needed, because you feel guilty.
Yeah.
You feel guilty, and then that drains you. As a family caregiver, it does drain you. You have sleepless nights, you're not eating, you're putting on weight, you're not taking your medication, and then 9 out of 10 times what has been happening is that you may be taking care of your mom. All she's been diagnosed with is some dementia. Other than that, she's fine, everything else is under control. While you started this journey with her, you now have diabetes, you're hypertensive, you probably would have experienced a stroke. So we have clients where we had to put a spin on it now and have the caregiver also kind of throwing an eye on them, because they have medical conditions coming on because of the stress, and again, the balancing act.
Yeah.
It's difficult. And all that we are doing, it's trying really to better equip persons where we start that thought process, you know, for them to say, okay, am I really prepared? If something happens to my mom, can I bring her home?
Yeah.
I don't have room in my house. Okay, the kids can probably, 2 of them could sleep in this room. Maybe I could convert the living room. You know, and there's so many things. And then you have sibling rivalry.
Well, what about elderly people who, and there may be a few out there who are watching this morning, who themselves do not have children, do not have siblings, do not have those who could assist them. Is there also, like, you know, even from CSSL services that provide for that?
Well, we do have our Joyage 50 Plus Club. So it's just older youths aging gracefully. So I'm almost at the 50 mark, you know. So it's something I implemented really for myself, being a little selfish here. But I think it's a space, it's a club where we just come together. A lot of people will tell you as they get older, I don't have any friends. I've worked all my life and, you know, I really don't have any friends. But you can have mutual people coming together to share their stories, have a laugh, you know, just enjoy quality time. You know, so we have a lot of retirees there who are just at home. And we rush to retire and then it's like, okay, now we're home, now what?
Yeah.
Right? So it's an avenue where you can, I mean, it's a fun time, but we're also going to have little outings, maybe start a book club. You know, little things like that that will make it a little interesting. But yes, to answer your question, there are seniors who are at home and do not have children. And they do worry about, or they probably realize that, okay, things are happening. I think I'm getting a little forgetful. I find my balance is a little bit off. It's a conversation to have with your doctor. I mean, regular physical checkups are important as we get older. But it's also good, I mean, persons reach out to me. I do have seniors who will call and have the same conversation. And they worry. And they may not have even a niece or a nephew who will take care of them. So assisted living facilities in Trinidad is really not as popular as it would be in foreign countries. And maybe it's something that persons need to, in this field, need to get into. Having that assisted living where you still have your freedom to come and go, but it's like community living. So, but you have persons that you can talk to, you can relate to, but you have your own personal space. But you know, Trinis, we don't like to leave our home. We work hard for this. I'm going to die here. I don't care, you know, and this is where the struggle happens because now you are isolated. Things are happening, and if something should happen, nobody knows.
Yeah. Well, Ms. Mungal, I want to thank you very much for joining us this morning. But before we go, one last opportunity, please. All that you have said this morning, we can all appreciate. But the efforts of CSSL, yourself, your entire team, we very much applaud such. And I'd just like for you to share one more time info on where people could, the name of the app, how people could contact you when this expo is taking place. You know, it's a lot of information,
Yes.
but it's very well received. And if you can just share that information as well.
Of course. So our Family Caregivers Expo is happening on Saturday, the 28th of October at the Center of Excellence from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's free to the public, so all are welcome. You can reach us at 351-CARE, which is 351-2273. That is our office number. You can call, you can WhatsApp. All the information with regards to the app will be launched in and around the 28th of October. So all details, we're going to have persons there on that day showing you, helping you to download the app. So everything is going to be launched on our social media platforms later into October. But for the meantime, they can reach us at 351-2273.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much so much for joining me this morning. It's been a pleasure.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much for having
Certainly
me.
is a pleasure of mine as well. And, well, to you and to the entire team, and for all that you're doing, well done, and thank you very much. All the very best to you guys.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
You too. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break here on AM Prime, and when we return, we'll get into the last conversations this morning. We'll be right back.